This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Kfxl Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary are with you today. Rico, how's it going, man?
Hello.
All I saw while the intro's playing, while the open is playing, is you kind of slouched over there. I thought you were about to run for the hills.
Well, look, I'm getting personal with everybody. Everybody on the radio is learning my bodily habits today. Man, I have so much gas right now, but the problem is after eating that chip, it's like, do I trust this fart? Do I hold it in? Do I run to the bathroom?
That is hilarious. No, all I'm saying, Rico, and I hope this isn't
like it's a struggle right now because I'm sitting here and I'm just like, no, this is just a fart. Like I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good to go. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's not.
That is hilarious.
And I've been lucky so far.
And Mark can attest to this, but every time I kind of came out after the or during the midday show, VJ's show, during a commercial break to come and talk to you, say something about what we're going to talk about today, you were nowhere to be
in the
found.
bathroom.
I was like, well, Rico's car's still here, man. Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere. I've just been in the bath. I didn't even realize what time when I finished podcasting DP shows. It was like 1:30, and I was just like, I was supposed to be on lunch a while ago, but I was like, I gotta get this done. I get done, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. And I go to sit up front to like eat my lunch, and I go, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Rico's taken like 8 lunches since he ate the chip.
I have.
It's 8 lunches. Hasn't eaten any lunch.
No,
but he's taken lunches.
Bro, like first off, the chip is disgustingly hot. Like it's unnecessarily hot.
It's way worse than wings.
Way worse than the wings. Yeah. And second, it's just disgusting. Like it does not taste good. Like aside from the heat and the unnecessary hot powder, like the chip itself, the tortilla-ness of it is a disgusting texture after you chew it up.
Really?
After it's like mushy, it's like chunks of whatever.
Oh.
And it did like I got about 3/4 of it down while I was in front of the trash can, trying not to puke. And I ended up coughing out like the last little bit of it. But I swallowed 3/4 of it, so it was good. But oh my goodness. And it was like, it's with the wing, it just stayed like in your mouth.
Yes.
Like when you swallowed the chip, it was in your throat and like in your stomach. Like the heat you could feel it going down. And I'm like, I don't like this. So I'm like, and it hit the bottom of my tongue. So I'm eating ice cream and just holding it in my mouth under my tongue. Just like, please, dear God, go away.
That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Craig, Kool-Aid Man. Yeah, you guys are right. I don't know if we're allowed to say those words on air. That word. Of the combination of 2 words.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure. So we're gonna play it safe. Yeah, you guys are right though. That's what it is.
That's Craig and Kool-Aid Man. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Craig does ask, are you farting razor blades?
The farting does not hurt. It's very stinky.
Then you better get out of the studio. If the
fart box lives.
If I start coughing mid-sentence, you guys all know why.
But only about 2 of my trips to the bathroom felt like razor blades. Dude Wipes tweeted at me.
I saw that.
And I really wanted to go to Target and get some Dude Wipes, but I didn't.
Did they give you a follow?
They did not.
Oh, well, that's kind of stupid.
Unfortunately.
Do you ever wonder how like those companies what they do to search to like?
I think they search. Because I put #1ChipChallenge. I think they might search that.
Okay.
Because they're like, you might need us. And
yeah,
I
you're
was
gonna
like,
be like, and it was so.
I was like, I don't need you. And then one of the times I was like, I need you. Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
The best part, they're replying. It's on Twitter. You can find it, guys. But the best part, they're like, gonna need us. It was just they're so nonchalant and just relaxed. It was like, gonna need us.
You ain't wrong, though.
All right, big show today. Lots to talk about. Husker basketball. I feel like that is enough of a Rico recap. We don't need
we're
to
good.
worry about
we
that.
don't. Yeah.
402-464-5685. Plenty of stuff to get to in the hour. Okay, we have to get to this text. Hizzlebear asks, do you feel like there's a little person with a lighter behind you?
I did for one of my trips.
That is hilarious. Keep them coming. We'll ask Rico. These would be perfect things for
whatever questions you want to ask. I'll probably answer them.
Rico is.
If you have any questions about
book.
the Pocky One Chip Challenge, I'll answer them for you.
Like I was saying, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. Plenty of stuff to get to today. The new and revised Huskers football schedule came out today. There was a couple things to take note of, and we'll get to all those. We'll also revisit what our thoughts were at the beginning of the 2021 season when we were looking at the schedule and how we need to apply that thought to 2022. We're going to talk about that. Then also Husker basketball loses another game last night that it shows last night, and this is in a nutshell because I want to get to the football thing first, but in a nutshell, it shows how much Nebraska needs for things to go their way for them to grind out a Husker basketball win this season.
I wouldn't say that they need things to go their way. They were playing really solid basketball, which I don't know if that's, things going your way because Illinois was still getting what they want.
Yeah.
Probably not getting exactly what they wanted. I don't think they were expecting Trent Frazier to score 29 points. But Kofi Coburn with 16 and 13, that's pretty in line with what he does. Maybe a couple more
against
points.
Nebraska, it's going to be that.
Yeah, maybe some more points against an undersized center like Derek Walker, who shout out to Derek Walker.
Yeah.
My man's was out there putting in work against a probable NBA first round draft pick.
He's definitely got a future in the league. Yes.
But Derek Walker was putting in some work against Kofi Coburn, but things going their way. I don't think that was this game. I think that this was just a show of when Nebraska works hard and wants to and does put effort forth on defense, good things happen. And then you had that nice 10-minute spurt of just everything went good right for Illinois, and you saw the lack of hustle on rebounds come back to bite Nebraska.
And maybe that's a better way to put it. I suppose not everything needs to go their way. I guess the way I kind of viewed last night was give Nebraska credit. They started out really, really well, and I kind of got excited right off the bat. Like, okay, Nebraska, it's going to be another dogfight. Illinois is not going anywhere, right? But it's going to be similar to Ohio State, where Nebraska is going to be in a position towards the end of this game to take one from a top 25 program. And I guess then give them credit because they stalled for a little bit. Then they came right back and they took the lead before halftime, 34-31. So there were good things to take away from last night, absolutely. But then you look down the stretch and maybe this is where it plays into that thought of they need things to go their way or need help from the other team, whether that's the other team missing shots. Because last night Nebraska shot pretty well, 50% from three, which you've never seen from this team. Obviously, it was a small, I think 6 of 12.
Yes.
So they were 6 of 12. They did not take as many threes as they usually do, but they also were finding success. Lat Mayen, right off the bat, taking a three from the wing and hitting it was a welcome sight. Hitting one in crunch time down the stretch. That was a welcome sight, right? Kfxl played well. Bryce McGowan's attacked the rim.
Bryce McGowan showing the strength that we were talking about him needing, going up and instead of laying it up over the big guys and getting blocked like he did, in multiple games before yesterday, going up strong and showing the athleticism that led him to being a 5-star athlete because he was going up with no fear of either one of Illinois' big shot blockers and yammed it on both of them.
Well, and I will say this, there's still those things that kind of blind you, the effort things and not putting forth enough will or want to. And when I say that, I'm mostly meaning rebounding.
That three offensive rebound
it's
in one possession by one player.
That, but also there were a couple times last night, one that I can remember vividly when Nebraska was down by a couple a guy who I'm not going to say his name, shoots a three from the corner, starts trotting up the floor. The ball, it was hit off the back part of the iron, came bouncing back to him, bounced on the ground once, but he's trotting up the floor,
Mm-hmm.
and an Illinois guy from the free throw line comes and grabs the rebound in the corner right where he shot the ball. Those things that get you extra possessions when you're down 2 points, no matter where you are in the game, if you are at home, those are things that can sway a game, sway momentum in that period of time. To where, yeah, you missed a three that was a good look. You missed it. It was on target for the most part. Just got to change how much sauce you're putting behind it. It was a little too strong, but it came right back to you. But instead of following your shot or even staying in the same position and maybe taking a step forward, you're trotting up the floor to get into position for defense. It's those little things, right? That we've mentioned it before, but you see it in the women's games. If you were at the Iowa game on Sunday or you were watching on TV, Jazz Shelley got 3 offensive rebounds in one possession, in a possession that she did not even take a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, you saw her, the Iowa, and this is where Iowa kind of slacked, right? Iowa was sitting, on Sunday, Iowa was sitting back. Jazz Shelley comes up, jumps, just runs it and brings it back out to the top of the key to run another offensive set.
They're
She
boxing
did that
out the
3
bigs.
separate times.
Yeah, they're boxing out the bigs, but you got to find another body, because if you're just standing down there, somebody is free, and you know, for you to feel good, you know, they're going down to the other side of the court. But Jazz Shelley was hustling after every board, and that's what Nebraska's men's team was lacking the other day. Like I said, the one that I remember vividly is, let me find his name because he's on here with like 8 boards. Coleman Hawkins, just on one possession. I don't know who took the first shot, but they missed it. He got it right underneath the hoop, missed the putback attempt, got it back, missed the putback attempt, got it back. And there were 3 Huskers right by him, and nobody jumped up to get the ball from him.
Tipped it in.
And he finally tipped it in.
Yeah. It's little things like that. And we're going to preach this the rest of the season, because guess what? And I was going to say this earlier, but hey, guess what, Derek Walker? Now it's time to play Purdue. And Derek Walker is giving big minutes to Nebraska, and he's playing well and better every single time out. And you just have to tip your cap to him, because he's a dog down low, and it's really, really impressive. So, like I said, it's the little effort things that we're going to preach all year long. And we're going to say, well, listen, Nebraska, you're undersized. You probably can't count or bank on the idea of shooting 50% from 3 every single night. But you know what can make up for shooting woes and bad quality shots or missed shots? It's effort. It's hustle plays. And I believe Strickland talked about this, and DP and Big Sky talked about this on the postgame show last night, is that it was just the effort plays. 402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln hotline, Sutter Heyman text line. Both those open for you the rest of the show. How are we feeling about, and I don't want to single out a guy, but he's been a topic of conversation throughout the start of the season. The first, I think they're 6-11 now, so the first 17 games. Alonzo Verge Jr. And I kind of tweeted about this yesterday at Nick_Sainert, but it was frustrating. Once again, he comes in, has a couple turnovers, and then after those turnovers in consecutive possessions, Iowa takes a 2-point lead, and he comes down, a guy who's shooting 25% from deep, pulls up from the top of the key. Those are the things that are extremely frustrating for me personally, because even though it was in the first half and you have over a half and 10 minutes to play, so 30 minutes of game time to still play or whatever, and I don't remember the exact time on the clock, but it's those little things like that where swaying momentum. Nebraska, undersized, defensive transition, you're leaning heavily on those guys to get back when Illinois is about to run the floor, because that missed 3 from the top of the key bounced off the back iron or off the backboard or wherever it was, and Illinois got out and running, and then bam, it was a 4-point lead. And then I think that was when Illinois actually took that 7-0 run to take a big lead before the Huskers climbed back. It's those little things that when Nebraska's playing Purdue on Friday night on the road in Mackey Arena against top 5 Purdue, you can't have those things happen, or you have to at least limit them. And I understand on the flip side of this whole thing, I understand that they're asking Alonzo Verge and every guy to do a lot of things every single night. And I understand and are aware of that they're giving their all on the offensive side. But once again, it's the effort things that are just kind of frustrating to, kind of what's going to happen. You kind of are aware and you can expect or guess and predict what's going to happen if they go on a shooting slump. They don't shoot well for a substantial amount of time. You kind of know what's around the corner. So, I mean, there's a lot to. Okay, yeah, Hizzlebear asks, is Rico on lunch again? Yes, Rico is on lunch. That's why he's not talking. It's a quick lunch. We'll be good. I told him, I said, Rico, man, I don't want to be in your position. So feel free to exit the studio and run for the hills whenever you need to. So yeah, that's why you're hearing Rico's silence. There's no Rico in the studio right now. He's on lunch. But I wonder if I'm assuming he took himself off the video stream. I'm assuming it's just me on the stream right now. So you guys will know when Rico is back as well. But no, a lot of good things as we get done talking about the negativity there. A lot of good things to take away from Nebraska men's basketball last night. Fred Hoiberg announced today, I believe, that Trevor Lakes is out indefinitely as he rehabs a shoulder injury. So you look at that and say, okay, Keon, they've attempted to put in the starting lineup, didn't necessarily give him starting minutes throughout that time period, but it's a time to maybe step up and fill a big role that Nebraska men's basketball needs the freshmen to fill. There's a lot of potential, but I'll look up their schedule. I know they play Purdue on Friday. It's a gauntlet. It's the Big Ten Conference. So they're going to have to hopefully figure out something quick, and we'll be able to see more good things that we're able to take away from this basketball program. All right, 402-464-5685. Keep sending your thoughts. Let's go ahead and get to the schedule. We'll get to break here in a moment, but let's go ahead and get to the schedule. Nebraska football, their schedule was released for 2022. Now, I actually had to check myself. I'll be the first to admit, I almost dove into the boat of, yep, Nebraska is going to be much better. I like how this is set up. I like how Nebraska, where their bye weeks are, and we'll get into more of that here in a second, but I like where Nebraska's at. We got Casey Thompson. Mickey Joseph is the wide receivers coach. The recruiting is going all right out of the transfer portal. They're still looking to add some guys. Defense, you still feel somewhat good about. There's a lot of question marks and unproven production in the secondary, especially defensive line. You can say the same thing for that group. But hey, I feel good about how the schedule sets up. I was almost in the boat, guys. I almost fully dove in. But then I remembered I thought that same thought this last year. So let's walk through it. Walk through it with me, folks. 2021 schedule. All right, you start with an easy game against Illinois. They have a new coach. You're going in with your fourth-year starting quarterback. Here we go. Nebraska 1-0. Then you're thinking, all right, 2 easy wins against Buffalo and Fordham. You're 3-0 going in to Oklahoma, which you chalked up as a loss. Everything's fine, And they played well against Oklahoma, but that's not what this conversation is necessarily about. Then it was Michigan State, Northwestern, Michigan. You thought, okay, that's a toss-up. Michigan, you think it's a toss-up because nobody really expected them, at least here, and me personally, maybe I'll just keep it at that. Me personally did not expect them to be a playoff team. Jim Harbaugh was solely on the hot seat, and now he might leave for the NFL. But it was a toss-up at the beginning of the season because it was at a home game. And then you can throw Minnesota as a toss-up as well because those games are always tight. So Michigan State, a game you should have won. Northwestern, a game Nebraska looked pretty good in, their most complete game all season. Michigan, a game Nebraska was firmly in a position to win that one. And then Minnesota, that was a toss-up as well. Then you keep going. All right, you feel good about Purdue. It's Purdue. And at home, oh, heck yes. Give us the Boilermakers. Then you chalk up Ohio State as a loss, Wisconsin as a toss-up, because at the beginning of the season, Wisconsin was bad, or at least looked bad. Graham Mertz was ugly, especially against Notre Dame. And welcome back, Rico.
Hi.
How was lunch?
It was good.
Good.
It's good.
Taste anything good?
Yeah, the lunch was good.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So we've moved on to football.
Okay, good.
The Iowa game, toss-up, right? And you're thinking, all right, Nebraska, it's finally time for them to get Iowa. It's finally time for them to top Iowa. And once again, a game you should have won. So I had to check myself, Rico, this morning, because when the schedule came out,
The new schedule.
that's revised.
How often does that happen?
Well, I think they had to do it this year because of COVID. They rearranged games last year and things like that to make it. So they revised it here and they finalized it. So this is what we're stuck with.
Right.
So we'll talk about that in the next segment because we'll get to break. But I had to check myself because the way that the schedule's laid out and the way that Nebraska has bye weeks and they're spread out. The bye weeks are spread out and they don't travel that often for a big time chunk in the beginning of the season. So you're thinking, all right, Nebraska, plus it's a quote unquote easier schedule. All right, Nebraska, let's do it. 7-8 wins. Let's chalk it up. But then I had to check myself.
Is that what you told yourself after you saw it?
I almost did.
Ooh.
And then I was walking through how I thought about this last schedule and said, all right, if Nebraska can go into Oklahoma 3-0, they're going to be just fine. Nebraska can go into Ohio State with 2 losses. They're going to be just fine.
Look, man, if Nebraska would have beaten Illinois and went to Oklahoma 3-0, they don't lose that game.
Interesting theory. So
they probably still.
Let's dive in to that whole schedule talk. Now that Rico's back, you can push the break button. 402-464-5685. Get your final thoughts in, or not final. Get your thoughts in. Talk about the schedule and Huskers football. What are we thinking? Predict the record. What's the line going to be out at Vegas? Tommy Gunn says it's going to be 6.5 next year. Do we agree? Do we disagree? We'll get to all that next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Old School with DP and J.
They didn't get hired to come here and change. They came here, I'm assuming, to add to it. It wasn't just Coach Whipple coaching Pickett. It wasn't just Coach Joseph coaching all those receivers. It's more to it. Coaching was a big part of it, obviously, but what did you bring into the table? I can guarantee you, if I'm a defensive player and I was kind of slacking or whatever, you think Coach Joseph ain't going to be like, dog, do you know who I saw playing on defense? Jamal Adams and all these other guys? What do you think you're doing?
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
Parents, if you've been waiting for FDA approval to get your teen vaccinated, the time is now. The FDA has approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for use in preventing COVID-19. While this is the first vaccine to gain FDA approval, all COVID-19 vaccines have been proven to be effective against the coronavirus. Want to reduce your teen's risk of hospitalization while protecting yourself and your community? Get your team vaccinated today. Visit vaccinate.ne.gov to get started.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill has been your go-to in South Lincoln for years, and their second location in downtown Lincoln is now open. Rosie's downtown spot is Lincoln's premier Nebraska party bar with the Sidetrack Band every Friday night of home games and all day for Nebraska home football games. With 34 TVs that are 65 inches or bigger, you'll always have a great view for all the games. Make sure to check out the new Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, now open in downtown Lincoln at 10th and P.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Partly to mostly sunny skies and mild conditions expected once again. We'll top out near 55. Winds out of the northwest at around 10 to 20. Heading into tonight, mainly clear. A low dropping down to around 31. One more beautiful day tomorrow with a high of 55, but we're watching a system for Friday that could bring snow to the region. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Starter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. StarterHeyman.com.
When it's really cold and your furnace goes out, the last thing you need is somebody who just wants a piece of your checkbook. Several families were told they had a cracked heat exchanger and needed a new furnace. Fortunately, they called Bryant for a second opinion. Many were found to only need minor repairs. Anytime you need furnace repair, call the experts at Bryant first. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to The Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico must be feeling better. If you're not on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, get over there. Rico, are you feeling better?
Like, I feel fine in between my lunch breaks.
Okay. So we're still sticking with the lunch break.
Yeah, we're just going to call them lunch breaks. I feel fine in between my lunch breaks. But during my lunch breaks, I want to curl up into a little ball and die.
I wonder if Mark is aware of how many lunch breaks you're taking on today.
Look, I'm getting my stuff done. Look, I'm getting my jobs done. I'm getting my work done. So, can't be mad at my lunch breaks.
I suppose so. All right, let's talk about the schedule. 402-464-5685. Nebraska releases their schedule. I can say it off the top of my head here. I can search it. Either way,
couple changes here and there.
Yeah, there's been a couple, which we'll dive into, but here's the overall schedule if you haven't seen it. So obviously they play Northwestern on August 27th in Ireland. Come home, it's North Texas or North Dakota. Then it's Georgia Southern and their new coach Clay Helton home against Oklahoma, home against Indiana, on the road at Rutgers, on the road at Purdue, at home against Illinois, at home against Minnesota, on the road at Michigan, at home against Wisconsin, and on the road in Iowa City against the Hawkeyes.
That 4-game stretch for the run defense is going to be rough.
Well, so that's one thing I want to talk about. So, but first, and here's why I kind of talked about how the thoughts process that was kind of going through my mind at the beginning of 2021, it makes this offseason feel even longer because you can't look at the schedule, and I'm sure we'll have this conversation eventually. So I'm sure it's coming, but you cannot look at the schedule and chalk up a win. You can't chalk up a for sure win. Like last year,
I could chalk up 3.
All right, let's hear
literally the first 3.
Northwestern, you're chalking up Northwestern
Yes,
as
I
a
am.
for sure win.
Yes, I am.
See, I'm not in the boat quite yet because Northwestern's one of those teams, and Pat Fitzgerald's one of those coaches.
Oh, I know.
I've
said it that Northwestern doesn't. It seems as if they don't have back-to-back garbage years, but I think
or good years.
I think with
you're right. I mean, let's be real.
I think with the changes that were made and the way that Nebraska played them last year, even if they up their defense, or up their defensive intensity, because that's really what you're looking at. Their offense is going to be Northwestern offense. It's not going to be great. It'll work sometimes, but it's not going to be amazing. Even if they step up their defense, they lost a preseason All-American at safety. They're losing, some other pieces here and there from the transfer portal and just guys leaving after graduating and such. So I mean,
I don't know if you saw it. Did you see Hunter Johnson in the portal?
Hunter Johnson? You mean the former 5-star?
The former 5-star is heading to his 3rd school.
Wow.
After transferring. So, okay, either way.
So that's literally that Northwestern and then the 2 non-con games. I will chalk those up as W's. The rest of the schedule, I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing. Oklahoma is really interesting. And text line, I'm going to ask you to keep me and Rico honest.
Yeah.
The whole entire offseason, because we
call me out if I
this.
Yeah, call us out.
But no, there were a couple things that were of note when I was looking at the schedule and reading reactions and thinking about stuff. The Oklahoma game is very interesting because new coach, there's a lot of storylines. New coach,
new quarterback.
They lost 14 starters throughout their 2 sides. So there are a lot of missing pieces from this last year Oklahoma team. But also it's still that Oklahoma, and it's the quote unquote rivalry thought is still going to be pretty present in that matchup.
Yeah, like you said, new coach, like a new quarterback with Dylan Gabriel, but he's been there, done that. He's played in some big games in his career down at UCF. Lost a bunch of starters on both sides of the ball. You lost your 2 best pass rushers. You lost your best receiver.
Yeah, I went to Oklahoma. Or excuse me, went to Arkansas.
Yeah, you lost your best receiver. A couple other receivers transferred or are going pro. Like you've got a lot of guys in the transfer portal or a lot of guys that have decided to go pro. And I know it's Oklahoma, and I know they just restock or whatever. But the cupboard that they had was for a Lincoln Riley offense, and I don't know what a Brent Venables offense is going to look like.
Well, and how Dylan Gabriel performs at a higher level.
And you would think Brent Venables, defensive coach, defensive coordinator at Clemson, highest paid assistant in the country for multiple years. You would think Oklahoma's defense is going to be good, or at least improved over what it was this season. But then you have to take into consideration the type of athletes that he has now on this roster compared to the type of athletes that he had on Clemson's defense.
Well, and what's interesting when we're talking about the changes that Oklahoma made, like you said, Venables is more of a defensive guy, right? But then he hires an offensive coordinator in Jeff Lebby from Ole Miss. So it'll be interesting to see how those things mesh together. All right, couple of notable things. Let's go through them. Something that is in Nebraska's favor is that they are at home. They do not have to travel for 40 plus days following Ireland. They are here for 40. I think the number was 41 when we counted 41 straight days after they get back from Ireland.
That sounds nice.
Because they get North Dakota, Georgia Southern, Oklahoma, a bye week, then Indiana, all at home before they travel to Piscataway. And they go on a 2 game.
They also have a bye week after week 0, right?
Nope. So it's Northwestern, then North Dakota.
Oh, so they're
So
not
they
doing
switched, they switched up buys.
Got it. So because normally you think that teams go week 0, they don't play week 1, and then they start week 2. But okay, no, that makes sense. Since they switched up the buys, they got 2 later.
So that's encouraging for Nebraska because think about it, they don't have to worry about traveling. They don't have to worry about altering plans. That's 4. If you want to count after the bye week, that's 4 straight weeks or 4 weeks out of the 5 that it's an easier schedule, right? With Georgia Southern, North Dakota, and Indiana, if Indiana continues to have their downfall.
So they don't have Penix.
Don't have Penix, but they have the Missouri guy.
Oh yeah.
Who went there, Bazelak or whatever, however, if that's how you pronounce it. So that's their quarterback this year. So we'll see what happens. So that's something that you can point to and say, all right, Nebraska goes to Ireland August 27th, or they play on August 27th. Then they won't hit the road until they play in Piscataway on October 8th.
That is a great way to get all of the newer guys that you're bringing in the transfer portal, or the freshmen that might have to play, or some of the guys that have been on the roster but haven't played quite yet. Some more experience with not a hostile crowd, but a very loud crowd and a very engaged crowd, and you're getting them some game time against some lower level opponents, at least the first 2 of the first 3 weeks.
Well, I think that's very interesting because there's going to be a lot of discussion around this fan base and whether or not they are attending games, right? And the sellout's going to stay alive.
Will it?
Yes.
Are we going to talk about that already?
No. But it's curious. It's definitely going to be a topic of discussion in terms of how much the fans are interested in going to the stadium. So if Nebraska can get a win in Ireland, then come back and let's just say on the high end, they are 4-0 going into that October 1st game against Indiana. There's a lot of encouragement, even if they are 3-0 heading into that game against Oklahoma, which I don't think you're going to have to worry too much about that one. But there's stuff to be excited about.
I say even if they're 2-1 going into the Oklahoma game, that place will be sold out.
Yeah, good point. So let's go to another thing here. Wisconsin now comes to Lincoln this year. They were originally slated to go back to Madison. Here's a little fun fact for you. For the first 10 years, Rico, from 2010 to 2020, that Nebraska was in the Big Ten, they always played Wisconsin and Iowa either on the road or at home. So they either played them both. They always played them both on the road or both at home.
Oh.
This is the first time since 2020, I believe, that they are going. Well, they played them separately last year, but they get to play Nebraska or Wisconsin on the road or at home, and Iowa on the road. So it's a little something there. You get them split up a little bit as well in terms of having to travel and things like that. So that could be a plus. They switched it up. Wisconsin now comes to Lincoln this year, and they have to go to Iowa. So having Wisconsin, we talk about it. If you find yourselves in the middle of a Big Ten West division race, like you kind of hope Nebraska can be in year 5, that's a big game. Wisconsin at home on November 19th. You would love to have that division locked up before you go to Iowa next week. That's just a far away, stepping away from the microscope and looking bigger picture.
That would be beautiful. Or if you really want to get into some fun hypotheticals, you make that Iowa game the pseudo Big Ten West championship.
That would be.
But again,
that'd be
that means Nebraska
takes
care of business.
Has to win
with the rest of their schedule.
Purdue,
which,
Illinois,
as we said, is not a given. No matter how much everybody wants to say, oh, it's an easier schedule. Look, you have Purdue, you have Illinois, you have Indiana as your crossover. You don't have to worry about Ohio State, blah, blah, blah. Well, you haven't done well against the teams on your own side of the bracket, so I wouldn't really call this an easy schedule.
That's what I'm saying. Is like that we can't have this we will have a conversation about the schedule for months to come, but you can't have that conversation of, all right, Nebraska should be blah, blah, blah heading into Michigan. Because you can't chalk up games, and maybe I shouldn't have done it last year, but
we all did. It's fine.
You can't chalk it up. You can't chalk a win against Purdue. You can't just automatically say, oh yeah, Purdue's a for sure win. Illinois is a for sure win, especially this year after what Nebraska fans went through last year. So then, last but not least, a little nugget here. We mentioned it before. Bye weeks change. So instead of, and this is a big one for me personally. Instead of October 8th and October 29th, that's where the bye weeks used to be. They are now September 24th and October 22nd. And here's why this is a little bit bigger. Once they're a little spread out, a little more spread out than what they originally were. You get a bye week after Oklahoma before the heart of the conference slate begins against Indiana, Rutgers, Purdue. Then you have a bye after Purdue. Now, why is that important? Because Nebraska heads into a 5-game stretch after that October 22nd bye where they face Illinois, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa.
Like I said, those last 4 games, if you are a run-stopping, or if you like to think of yourself as a run-stopping team, those 4 teams will put it on you and make you work to stop them, because they don't care if they're only going to get 2 yards a rush. They're going to keep running at you and punching you in the mouth, and they're going to break one at some point. That's kind of just how it goes, because right now I'm looking up the rosters. Blake Corum's still going to be at Wisconsin. He's only at Michigan. Yeah. He's only a sophomore. Braylon Allen, as we know, is going to be 18.
He's going to be 18 years old. No, but like that's the thing is
Muhammad Ibrahim is back.
Yeah, for real. So
I'm looking up Iowa's running backs. I don't know who they have.
Once again, we can have the same thought in mind as we did last year with a lot less confidence for me personally. But you look at this front half of Nebraska's schedule from August 27th to October 15th, 2, 4, 6, 7 games. And you could say, man, it would really be nice for Nebraska to be 6-1 heading into that final bye week. It would really be nice for Nebraska to be 6-1. And standing far away and looking at the talent, and this is what's so frustrating for Nebraska fans, is looking at the roster, looking at the talent that Nebraska has, and looking at now the coaching additions, you should be able to say, yeah, a win against Northwestern, absolutely. A win at home against Indiana, absolutely. But here's the brutal reality and brutal truth of it. They haven't done that. And so you have to, it's so hard. And I'm cautioning Husker fans from getting too high of hopes. And I know I'll be sitting here on August 26th and we're previewing Northwestern and talking to whoever from Northwestern. And we're going to say, oh yeah, we feel really good about Nebraska's chances. And then well knowing that there's a chance they go out and put up 3 points. Like that's just the reality of Nebraska football. And it's so frustrating, but there is a way. Once again, same kind of thought in mind as before last season. This front half of the schedule, Nebraska should find success. And that can carry over into the second half of the schedule, that brutal 5-game streak or 5-game stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But now we don't know what we can chalk up to as wins and what we can chalk up as losses. All right, let's take a break. 402-464-5685. Let's get Nick trivia here before we get to your texts. There's quite a few here, so we'll get to those after the break. Yesterday we did the last ranked team that Nebraska men's basketball beat. Let's do it for football. Who was the last ranked team Nebraska football beat at the time? What they were ranked at the time Nebraska played. You guys get the gist of it. All right. Yesterday, we did basketball. Today, we do football. 402-464-5685. Win $15 at the Upside Bar and Lounge. Next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. Drive-bys is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive drunk. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. But that didn't stop you, did it? You knew you could get arrested. You could incur huge legal expenses, and you could possibly even lose your job. You were well aware of the consequences of driving drunk. But one thing's for sure. You were wrong when you said it was no big deal. Drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by NHTSA.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
When it's really cold and your furnace goes out, the last thing you need is somebody who just wants a piece of your checkbook. Several families were told they had a cracked heat exchanger and needed a new furnace. Fortunately, they called Bryant for a second opinion. Many were found to only need minor repairs. Anytime you need furnace repair, call the experts at Bryant first. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
You hear that? That's the sound of extremely tender and delicious beef from certified Piedmontese. Prime grade tenderness with a fraction of the fat and calories of normal beef. It's Nebraska-raised product and the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. Change the way you buy beef today at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, just north of 84th and Havelock, or at cpmercado.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick is with you. Rico took a lunch break, so it's just me for this segment. But we'll still play the game show. Call now, 402-464-5685. Win $15 to the Upside Bar and Lounge. Really good jalapeno cream cheese burger from there. Really, really good. So that's my recommendation for when you go. All right, let's do this. I need the answer to the last football team that Nebraska beat that was ranked. All right, so we'll go to Jim. Jim, do you know the answer, man? Who was the last ranked team that Nebraska football beat?
I hope so, because I was at the game, so I'm hoping this is the one. Michigan State.
Oh! That's incorrect. Let's go to Kim. Kim, do you know the last ranked football team Nebraska beat while they were ranked?
I'm here. I was going to guess Michigan State, so I'll go with Oregon.
I have to find it. That is right. Oregon was ranked 22nd. Scott Frost, Kim, sit tight. We'll get you your information here, and you'll get $15 to the Upside Bar and Lounge. Sorry, Rico, I forgot to turn your mic on.
No, it's totally fine.
Welcome back.
Hi.
Kim, sit tight. We'll get to your information here one second. $15 to the Upside Bar and Lounge. So Oregon was ranked at the time Nebraska football played. because it'd be too hard to figure out who they beat and then they finish the season ranked. So we just do that. So Kim, congratulations on that. Let me give you guys. I do not think I searched. I'm telling you guys.
Was the snow
the
9-6 Michigan State game after Oregon? Because
it was because it was in Scott Frost's first year.
I think they were ranked.
Let's look. If so, Jim, we'll have you call back. You guys both can win. Michigan State. I'm telling you, I look at ESPN
because wasn't that
no way Michigan State was ranked because they were 6-5. Okay. There's no way they could have been ranked. They were 6-5. So that's what I'm going to say. If somebody wants to send in a picture where I'm wrong, that's fine. We'll get Jim back on the horn. But if I was wrong, but there's no way. According to ESPN, Michigan State was not ranked at that time.
Okay.
And they finished the season 6-5.
That's fine.
So who knows? Excuse me. So Oregon, because I believe Scott Frost has never beaten a ranked team. That's why the Michigan State game this season was going to be so big.
That would make sense.
That's why the Iowa game was going to be big because they were a ranked team at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there was so much on that one as well. All right, so September 17th, 2016 against Oregon, they win 35-32. I was going to give a hint. Dakota Prukop was the starting quarterback there for Oregon.
Throwback.
Yeah, tell me about it. And then Jordan Westerkamp, 3 catches, 39 yards, 2 touchdowns for Jordan Westerkamp.
Gorgeous.
All right, Rico, got a minute left. How are we feeling, man?
Like personally?
Yeah, like I just want to check on.
I'm okay. It's just, a lot of lunch breaks.
Yeah. Well, the day's almost over for you.
I'll be okay. I'll be fine.
Yeah, you're good.
I don't know how much I'm going to be able to help Rachel today with the kiddos, though.
I was going to say, are you going to take dinner lightly? Or...
No, I'm fine. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to suffer the consequences. I did this to myself. Well, the Patriots did this to
I
me.
will say I like the haircut, though.
Thank you, sir.
Are you going to continue doing that, or did Rachel like it? Or
yeah, she liked it. She would have preferred more hair gone.
A little shorter on top, I would have said.
Yeah, but it's fine.
All right. Water cooler with Big Sky, who just walked in the house.
Hi, Big Sky.
And Bach is next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Adios.